Welcome to the channel. Greetings, greetings, beautiful butterflies in transformation, just like me. How is everyone doing? I hope that you guys are feeling peaceful, productive, and prosperous. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to our fourth video on manifesting love. This is the video where we're going to get into releasing karmics and the tie between releasing karmics and what that actually means and why we need to do it and what is it all about, how that relates to you attracting that wonderful person into your life. If you haven't purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, these braces, y'all, I'm getting these braces off. Hopefully September, October, I can't wait. If you haven't purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, add this addition to your healing and high vibrational library, and hopefully you will find it quite an addendum to what you already have. Okay, so if this looks like a video that you want to get into, please stick around. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment. For those of you who are already commenting, I love you, I love you, I love you. Okay, so let's talk about why it's so important on your journey to ultimate fulfillment, on your journey to manifesting the love of your dreams, on your journey to naturally attracting that perfect divine life counterpart into your life, why it's so important that you understand the relationship that your karmics, your other soulmates, have played in helping you to get to that precipice just where you're ready in your Empress energy or your Nine of Pentacles energy to bring that person in, to call that person in. Let's talk a little bit about that. Now, before I even get into it, I want to go over the terminology because I don't want you to get hung up on the terminology. Karmics, twin flames, soulmates, divine life partners, your divine masculine, your divine feminine, because this video is for divine masculines and divine feminines. However, it is a little biased towards the divine feminines because I happen to be a divine feminine, but you can benefit from the video. There's lots for you to learn. Just reverse it and switch the places where it makes sense. When we talk about these different relationships with these different peoples, whether we call them a twin flame or karmic or whatever, they are all soulmates. First and foremost, you know, nothing in this universe happens by accident. Each and every person that we meet is someone who is on our path to teach us something, and the same goes for us. We are there to learn something or to give something, right? To get something or to receive something, and oftentimes it works both ways. So whether you refer to that soulmate as a karmic, which usually most people, it has sort of a negative connotation to it, but karma is just something that is a result of something that you reap as a result of what you have sown. Karma can be positive. Karma can be negative. It's simply a consequence. It's really not negative or positive. It's just an effect based on some cause, essentially. It's the way you rack up what it is you owe in this lifetime, and the way you rack up what it is you are sowing. You reap what you sow, okay? In each and every moment, we're constantly resolving and having to balance out our karmic debt. Granted, there are providential sorts of events and influences that affect the way in which we do this and the availability of opportunities. For example, someone is fated to come into your life. What you do with that relationship is destiny. But the fact that they're fated to come in for a particular divine purpose is something that was orchestrated beyond anything that you can control. When we talk about karmics, we're talking about those energies that come into our lives by design to deliver a message. That message almost always has to do with us stepping into who we really are and learning lessons about our self-worth, okay? how to get into and maintain that Nine of Pentacles energy, which you always hear me talking about, because the only thing that individual is missing, be it masculine or feminine, is that last pentacle, which represents happily ever after. Happy house, happy life, happy wife, that energy. So when we talk about karmics, we are talking about those people who come to teach a lesson that usually doesn't really feel easy for us. All right. But it also relates to those people who come to teach us a lesson that we have to learn because we didn't learn it with the person before them and 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 the person before them for any number of reasons. So when that person comes into our life, they don't know they're there to teach us and that we signed up for this, that this is a soul contract, that we were destined to meet, and I was destined to receive that lesson. They were destined to give it to me. And by the same token, I too am some sort of karmic package slash karmic relief in their life as well. Now let's briefly just touch on twin flame, because you guys have seen me do videos on this channel related to twin flame. And I don't want you, when we get caught up in semantics, we lose. The idea of the twin flame is a rarity. It happens to people oftentimes on a spiritual journey for any multitude of reasons. That person comes in and sets off a cascade of events. The twin flame journey doesn't have to be with a lover. It can be with a cousin. It can be a child that comes into your life as a twin flame, or friendship, or something else. The important thing I think to remember about the twin flame journey is it's less about the romance and the happily ever after and more about the catalyst for you to come into union, for you to come into that sense of completion and wholeness within yourself. Okay, now sometimes that person can do that with you. Oftentimes they can't because they feel too much like a karmic. Oftentimes they're in the role of a karmic, especially if both people are not growing and moving. All right. But that person that comes in with your soul signature that feels like your perfect match is the one that can trigger you into the deepest layer of self-analysis, into the deepest layer of self-awareness, into the deepest layers of what will birth, initiate, and be the catalyst for you arriving into your Nine of Pentacles energy. So in that sense, it's a beautiful relationship, but it is not oftentimes designed to go the distance. And the way you know is because it begins to feel too karmic. All right, for those of you who are caught up in the twin flame title, it begins to feel too karmic. It begins to be karmic, and you begin to have experiences that bring you to the knowledge that you've learned the lesson that you were supposed to get, and it was the hardest, most difficult journey that took you down through there so you could get that ultimate lesson, because once you get it and you arrive out of the dark night of the soul, you are definitely a spiritual gangster. You are in your spiritual warrior energy, and there's no going back. So oftentimes I would argue that it is that twin flame journey sometimes that ushers you into a new cycle. All right, which is where the karmic stuff comes in. Life is like that wheel of fortune, right? We have seasons. It's the law of rhythm. All right, where we have winter, spring, summer, fall. We have good times, not so good times, bad times, or not quote unquote bad times, challenging times, and times of learning. When you are in certain cycles, it takes very powerful energies to knock you out of those cycles and bring you back up to that part of the wheel where you can begin to recognize more of your divine birthright. Whether that includes up-leveling in your finances, up-leveling in your relationships, attracting that divine life partner. Oftentimes, always, there is a series of karmic events that become the triggers that allow you to manifest that best version of yourself that allows you to leave something very karmic behind to move on to better experiences that will allow you to attract in that divine life partner. So releasing a karmic relationship is so important, because the length of time that you stay in a karmic relationship, which is essentially a relationship that after a period of time brings in a lot of misery. It's a relationship that shows what I like to call the Six of Pentacles, which is really you're too good for that person, or that person doesn't recognize who you are. Okay, and there's a lopsidedness in that relationship that causes a major imbalance, that creates a lot of disharmony. It creates a lot of imbalance and emotional disequilibrium. It is a relationship where you feel as though you're working uphill. And it is the antithesis of what you experience when you meet that divine life partner. Why? Because when you meet that divine life partner, although you have some challenges in the relationship, you're not dealing with the types of energies that you're dealing with a karmic, where you feel as though you're just beating your head up against the wall and there is no growth, and it becomes a repetitive cycle, something that feels like it's not going to end. And so a karmic relationship is one that is up and down, in and out. It lacks some sort of stability. You cannot stabilize on a weak foundation. You cannot stabilize on something where both people are not traveling, like the Chariot card, in the same direction. Where one is pulling that way, another is pulling that way, and so forth and so on. A karmic relationship is one where you can't quite ever seem to get above board, where you seem to continuously be dealing with the same nonsense that you've been dealing with forever, and nothing ever really seems to get better. In a typical karmic relationship, you may be feeling as though you're not being treated the way you deserve to be treated. You may be feeling as though someone doesn't see you for your value. You may be feeling as though you're not really being heard. Essentially, those are some of the feelings that you get, that you're being taken for granted, that you're being mistreated. During the time that you're in this karmic relationship, you can't really progress in your life. I look at abundance as a total package. If you are abundant and you are in your divine birthright, you are financially abundant, you are abundant with regard to relationships, you are abundant with regard to up-leveling in your vibratory frequency, your health is improving or stabilizing, you are abundant in many aspects within yourself and in your outer world. They go together. I don't feel true abundance can be experienced without all of those things. Even if you don't have the lover-partner relationship, you have wonderful relationships in your life and you feel whole and complete, because that's your essential nature. You are whole and complete. And so when you are in that karmic relationship, it causes you to feel hurt. It causes you to feel empty. It causes you to feel taken for granted. And you really can't ever get that far, because the relationship's energy overall is incompatible, which means it's a lower vibrational energy. It's like trying to fuse two things together that aren't going to go together. So there's going to be constant resistance, which means there's going to be constant conflict, right? Which means you're never going to really be able to get on the same page, because either you are further along the spiritual journey than that person is, or that person is a page and you're a queen, for lack of a better analogy. But there's something that causes dis-ease and unrest between those two individuals, and it can manifest in all sorts of ways. You could be dealing with a narcissistic individual whose life you were sent into to give them the opportunity to do the level of work that they need to do and heal that emptiness within, that creates that environment that causes them to continually project outwardly onto you instead of dealing with their internal issues. You could be in a relationship with someone who has not done their work in their life, and they're leaning on you for their financial support or everything else in a way that it's not your job, in a way that it creates imbalance. There could be any multitude of situations, but when that karmic relationship comes into your life, it picks away at you little by little by little by little by little, because bad things happen to good people. Why? Because good people need to recognize who they are, and they have to have a series of challenges that allow them to rebirth and transform and morph and shipshape into the energy of who they were intended to be in the first place. And you cannot get to a certain level of success anywhere on this planet without having earned it. Nothing is free. If you get to that level of success and you have not earned it, and you cannot maintain the vibrational frequency to keep it, you will inevitably fall from grace, and you will go through that cycle again and again and again until you do the work you're supposed to do. The same is true with partnerships. You manifest someone in your life that you are not ready for. Eventually, they are going to leave you. Okay? It simply is we attract who we are. Like vibrations, okay, come together. Vibrations that are that different, they move away from each other. It is very simple to understand. So by the time you're in a karmic relationship, there comes a point in time where you're being challenged and challenged and challenged to leave that relationship because you come to learn the lesson, or you come to understand that that relationship is not healthy for you. Although all along, more than likely, you have been getting intuitive hits since day one about that individual in your life and the fact that they were not the right person for you. But again, you didn't listen. And so throughout the term of that relationship, you will continue to get that intuitive guidance that is asking you to step, that is asking you to vote with your feet, that is asking you to leave that situation and to walk away. 8 of Cups, but you don't listen. So you stay in that karmic cycle. Okay, let's say that person leaves you or you break up with them, but you still don't get the lesson. You're going to manifest that same energy in your life in the form of someone else because you still didn't get the lesson. And for the length of time during that particular life cycle, during that particular pattern, that rhythmic pattern, that seasonal pattern in your life, during whatever the time period is that you don't get that lesson, you're going to continue to be revisited by the quality of experiences that are designed to help you get that lesson. And if you don't get that lesson, you're going to go out of here not having had that lesson, only to remanifest, recycle, or reincarnate, depending upon what it is that you believe in, have that experience again until you, what? Get that lesson. So you're going to go through it during this lifetime. When you're in a karmic relationship, it is in your life to help you learn something. It is in your life to strengthen you. It is in your life to give you a frame of reference for what is healthy for you and what is not. It is in your life to help you to come to love yourself. It is in your life to help you to come to reevaluate your weaknesses. It is in your life to help you to understand that nothing is free in this world and that anything that you want, you have to work for it. That relationship serves as the contrast for your ideal relationship, because that karmic relationship or that twin flame relationship that never matures, that some people sit around and wait for all of their life, making excuses for the runner chaser energy and all of the other dysfunction and the distortedness that comes about that causes people to place their lives on hold. That energy that creates that was in most cases never designed to be rehabilitated and fixed. It is the energy that comes into your life as the ultimate teaching tool. If it's a twin flame relationship, which does not end up manifesting into a healthy partnership, or if it's a karmic relationship that comes into your life to help you to learn more about those aspects of yourself that are holding you back. So it is so important when we wish to manifest our ideal divine life partner, and this is an exciting journey for you. It is so important that when you're ready to manifest that you recognize what karmic influences you have in your life, and that you be prepared to let those things go so that you can step onto a higher timeline. Always know that the infinity of possibilities for your life and all of the things that you wish for, that you desire, that you pray for, they are already out there on various timelines for you. If you understand quantum physics, you understand that the infinity of possibilities exists within the quantum field all the time. It is simply what we give our attention to, what we observe for, that causes that to manifest. So if you're not ready to jump to that higher timeline, you can't have that experience. But what you will have is a series of karmic experiences that are supposed to try to teach you what the previous karmic experience couldn't teach you. When you are ready to really up level in your life and go to the next level of vibration, you will find that you will walk away from relationships with ease that no longer serve you. You will wake up one day having had the light of consciousness dawn upon you. As you hear me say this before, the sheep, you're going to stop being a sheep. The sheep never look up to see the glory of the sun until their neck has been slit. Okay, once their neck is slit and they fall on the ground and they look up and they stare at the glory of the sunlight. You, on the other hand, will reach a point, and this is a must if you are manifesting new love, if you're manifesting your divine life partner. It is important to do all that you can to align with that high frequency energy, because the energy of a truly healthy relationship is very high frequency. All right, and very few people reach that level of self-refinement, of relationship refinement. So it definitely is an ideal, but it is definitely possible. But it is also constantly being revealed to you or mirrored to you in where you are on your own journey, because you will always reflect or attract or mirror the individuals that are in your life in some way, trying to teach you who you are by way of looking at them. If you have ego issues, then you're going to manifest somebody who is very egoistic. All right, if you have control issues, then you're going to manifest someone that has those issues. But at whatever time you've learned that lesson and you are remediating or have remediated and done the inner work to heal that, eventually you will become incompatible with that particular situation, at which time you do have to move forward and leave that relationship behind. The same is true for friendships. The same is true for jobs. We teach people how to treat us. Nobody can let us down without our consent. Whatever it is you're experiencing in your life, you are consciously and mindfully participating in that experience. Let me say it again. Whatever it is that you are experiencing and participating in your life, you are consciously and mindfully participating and partaking of that experience. Nothing is happening to you. You are consciously helping to co-create that very energy that is keeping you stuck. So when you get to the point that you have learned that lesson, it is important that you release that person from your life. It is important that you understand what the lessons were that you were supposed to learn as a result of that person being in your life. All of the lessons. Oftentimes, there are going to be a multitude of them. It is also important for you to look at each of those lessons that you were supposed to learn and to ask yourself why. Why didn't you? Why, when you understood what was going on, didn't you vacate the premises? What was in you that allowed you to be at that particular place at that particular time, to have that particular experience with that person? What was it that kept that situation on autopilot? And to examine those things and to own it, because it's through ownership of that that you are going to be able to lighten your load, so that you can get your wings and fly away, but also fly to that next tier of experience that has been waiting for you. Because remember, you have a team. You have a team of other dimensional beings that have been guiding you the entire way. God has been sending you signals all the time. You have ignored your intuition. You have chosen to sit and be stagnant. You have chosen to be hanged man and not cut yourself down from that tree and get busy about making the changes that you have to make in your life in order to be on the same frequency of those things that you want to attract into your life. So if you want to attract someone with financial capacity, someone who is economically viable, then you yourself need to be in a place where you are in a healthy financial situation. You need to be working in that area, meaning you need to be stabilizing yourself. You need to be paying attention to your finances. You need to be honoring your money. All right, because when you start doing the work, the real work to do that, you're not going to allow someone into your life who can't handle their finances, can't pay their bills on time, can't keep a job. It's not going to be compatible. If you want someone that values you, then you also are saying that you want someone that values themselves, because if they can't value themselves, then they can't value you. If they self-sabotage all the good that's trying to come into their life, how in the world are they not going to sabotage what it is you're trying to do? How in the world are they not going to sabotage your life? If you want the best in your life, then you have to be the best that you can be at any given time on that karmic wheel, so that when the wheel turns and you usher in a new cycle, which is fluid with new experiences, new relationships, new love, new ways to sustain yourself, new levels of partnership with you in spirit, new levels of intuitive and psychic knowledge, then you have to do the things that cultivate those aspects of yourself that allow you to grow into that energy. All right, it's very important. Oftentimes, right before we're getting ready to cycle up into another level, it becomes easy to shed those things. All right, we are provided with, through the grace of God, opportunities in our life at certain critical time periods that when we take advantage of those so-called portals or those energies or those series of events that are working to help move us forward, we can capitalize on that energy and we can take quantum leaps in our lives. And at those particular times, you want to be in the right place. So always be doing the personal work to get yourself to the next level. Let those people go that have no business being in your life. Stop pining away for the people who rejected you or who did not see your value. It was a gift to you that those people left your life. You didn't really want them anyway. If you really actually get into the energy of how you really felt about those people, you didn't really, either you didn't like them that much, or it was something about them you didn't like, or was some way in which you knew you weren't compatible with them, or some way in which you knew the relationship wasn't going to go the distance. You were serving them insofar as you could not serve yourself. It's that simple, because when you're in a healthy state of mind, people call this healing, when you look back and you realize what that relationship was about and you understand that it wasn't supposed to work. But what really happens is you get into a healthier mindset. And when you get into a healthier mindset, you realize that there was nothing in that relationship, or that there was very little in that relationship that should have had your attention in the first place. And that you found that out pretty early in that particular cycle. But you chose to ignore it, and you chose to continue to work against the current. When something is right for you, it feels good and it feels easy for the most part. When something is not right for you, or you come into a place where it's time for you to level up from a situation or to outgrow a situation, you begin to feel increasing levels of discomfort. The cyclical pattern begins to happen at greater and greater and greater frequencies to create more and more and more discomfort for you, until you finally push through that shell as that little chickling, and you begin to sense that there's more to life than that particular situation. And often the actual event that brings that on feels like it happened suddenly. But if you go back and examine over time, you will see that it really didn't happen suddenly. It happened over a period of time, very gradually. And then it manifested one day in your mind as, I'm no longer compatible with this person. I know who I am. I'm in my power. I'm reconnecting with my passions. I am following my intuition, and I recognize that there's something out there better for me. And you begin to cultivate that feeling of hopefulness. You begin to cultivate that feeling of faith, and you begin to take that leap of faith that is pulling you in the direction towards all of the wish and dream fulfillment, all of the things that you have ever wanted. Releasing karmic relationships is the best thing that you can do for yourself. in between the time of that karmic relationship and manifesting your divine life partner. If you don't release those relationships and you continue to live in the energy of the old and you continue those repetitive patterns, you will be stuck in a lower vibrational energy that will take a toll on your health. See a karmic as a free radical. These chemical reactions that happen each time we interface with these people, it's very real. Typically, we talk about it in terms of the way they make us feel and our mood and our emotions and spiritual malaise and all of that. But on a very real physical level, these people act as free radicals in our life. And the extent to which we get embroiled and entangled in these relationships with these people, those free radicals go into our energetic cellular space. They take those electron pairs. Before you know it, there's a cascading of electrons running around looking for their pair, looking for their match. You have disharmony within the human energy field, and without the proper antioxidant support, which is you walking away, without the proper antioxidant support, eventually you will be in such an ill state of health that there will be nothing else for your body to do but to begin to deteriorate. These relationships take a toll on your health. They keep you from pursuing your life passion, your divine purpose. They mute your creative life force energy. They cause the energy of your heart chakra to be blocked. They confuse you. They separate you from your spiritual insight. And eventually you cannot hear and receive the divine support that you are supposed to be receiving, because a veil is placed over you because you have not been listening and you are left to your own devices. So releasing a karmic relationship is a prerequisite prior to calling in your divine life partner. There is no shortcut to this. If there's someone in your life that you know you need to release, let them go and don't look back. There's no point in looking back. There's no point in feeling prideful. There's no point in feeling spiteful. The most important thing you can do is understand that that person signed up in another time and space dimension to come into your life to help you get where you're supposed to go. They were necessary on your journey. You can't hate them. You have to be grateful that they came in and fulfilled on their contract, because it is their fulfillment that's going to take you and move you closer to your own personal dream and wish fulfillment. It is so critical to know when to sever those ties and when to move on. You cannot avoid this step in your journey. And let's say your karmic is not in your life, but you're still living under the past energy of that person. You lost a relationship, somebody walked out of your life, and you're still consumed with that energy, even though that physical counterpart is not in your life. You're going to be in the same boat. You have got to recognize that life is a series of open doors and closed doors. And whenever it's time to open a new door, one door must close. It has to close in order for you to open up the new door. And you have to accept that. We can't get stuck on experiences. And believe me, I know it's difficult. I've had my series of challenging relationships. I could not talk about this if I had not been there. So it is not an easy thing to do, to let go of something, even though you know it is counterproductive to you, because you may have another agenda, or you may have another reason for why you feel you need to stay in that energy, or you need to work that out. It could be children. It could be finances. It could be any number of different things. But you have to find the strength within you to pull away from that situation. You have to understand that that situation does not honor you. And then when you pull away from that situation, you have to give yourself time to heal from that situation. Because if you don't give yourself time to heal from that situation and to really understand the lessons and to really clear the energy of that person, to the point that when you think about that person, you feel nothing. You don't feel anger. You don't feel prideful. You don't feel as though you hope that they get their karma. You know that they're going to get their karma, because nobody escapes. Nobody gets out alive. You know that you were a lesson in their life for whatever the reason was. Okay? But when you're able to move forward and accept that this was a part of your divine journey, and that it did not happen without providence, and that it was an issue of divine timing, and that the gates have opened so that you can walk out of the gate and move beyond this situation, when you really, 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 really understand that and you internalize that, there won't be any room for bitterness. There won't be any room for pridefulness, because you will understand that that is what is helping you move towards and to come closer towards that which is a part of your destiny, which is that which has been fated for you, that which is an answer to your prayer. And you'll recognize that, like I said, that attachment was a negative attachment in your life. It represented a lower vibrational energy. It represented toxicity in your life, and it was causing you to be stagnant, which means that you couldn't grow, which means you can't reach out for that divine life partner that has been waiting for you, that has been and is being prepared for you, and that you can't take that baggage with you moving forward. We cannot move forward looking back. It is simply impossible. So keep these things in mind and really understand what it is that's karmic in your life that you need to let go of so you can raise your vibration. Understand what it is you specifically need in order to do the healing work that you feel needs to be done in between this relationship and the next one that you want to manifest, so that you don't manifest that same energy. Because those negative thought forms, those emotions, those reaction patterns, that hard wiring, that mental distress, all of that stuff doesn't just go away. You hear me talk about vibration in my videos. You can't just all of a sudden become a certain vibration. You have to put the work in. You have to up level. You have to make different decisions. You have to become more mindful. You have to become more of a conscious creator. You have to have other experiences that provide contrast, that serve as teaching tools for you along the way as you up level and ascend. So be willing to do the necessary work that has to be done so that you can manifest that person into your life that you know you deserve. Get ready. Get ready. It's something that can take a little bit of time, but begin to prepare yourself and have faith that that person is right around the corner, that they're actually coming into your life. The minute that you let these things go, especially if you happen to not be within a karmic cycle, but you happen to be in between karmic cycles, the minute that you let that energy go, that person's coming into your life, if they're not already on their way or they're not already there. So you're with Tanisha Ali, helping you to gain clarity, up-level your mindset, heal and clear energetic blockages so that you can manifest the glory of God that is within you, so that you can assume the position, okay, so that you can take on the life force energy that moves you into your divine birthright. If you liked this video, please share, please comment, please subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you made it to the end, please say, I made it to the end, and stick around for our video number 5 in the series on manifesting new love.